at that and going, that's another year of uncertainty, isn't it? So we'll see what happens with that. Bringing it back to United, though, Paul Pogba, he's got 1 year left on his deal. Might sign a new contract at United. There's talk of PSG. What's your thoughts on that situation with Paul Pogba? With a year to go, he's been here for 5 years. Fantastic talent, but he didn't play in the midfield a lot last season. We were using McTominay and Fred. There's links to other players. He was out on the left-hand side. Do you think it's time for, not necessarily in a bad way, time for Man United and Pogba to part ways, or do you think he's so important that, you want him to be signing a new deal?
Well, it's a funny situation, isn't it? He's got a year to go. He could go on a free at the end of that year and go and get himself absolute fortunes, as if they don't earn enough money already now. I think if Man United or if Ollie got vibes that that's what he was going to do, I'm sure he would try and sell him now and try and get as much money as he could for him now. Whether that's the right thing or the wrong thing to do, you look at top players, and you've just mentioned about that he hasn't been playing in midfield. He's sometimes being left out. If you're a top player, you don't get left out. It's as simple as that. If you are that good, you don't get left out. You mentioned Harry Kane earlier. We're talking about England. He wasn't going through the best of periods at the start of the tournament, but you can't leave him out because he's a class player. He's a world-class player. He's the best in his position. So, when you look at Pogba, is he worth that much? Without a doubt, he's a talented boy. You don't have to look at the goal he scored in the Euros recently. But there's always question marks there. I think there's been question marks for the last 4 years. He's been there 5 years, and there's been question marks for 4 years. Do we need him? Shall we get rid of him? Shall we get as much money as we can for him? I don't think you can keep having that conversation every time Pogba's mentioned. You're either, I know you can't please everyone and you're not everybody's favourite, but you've got to be 80% of the supporters or the hierarchy for you to be a top player. And I don't think that's the case. So if you could get as much money for him now, I would, as long as you're getting replacements, you're getting decent money to get some money in for him and wash your hands with the situation.
Yeah, somebody who's played at the very highest level for club and country. One of the things that gets said about Pogba is that if you look at the 5 years, did United ever provide him with the players around him that maybe France does? Is that an excuse for a top level footballer? Obviously, you've played at the top level. If you'd not come and played for United and you'd gone and played for maybe like Leicester, you would be a big Leicester's best player, with all due respect. You would be. Would you expect Teddy Sheringham still to be able to shine as a player? I mean, you wouldn't win the same things at United, but is that a fair excuse for Pogba to say, look, I've not really had the players around me like I do for France, or would you still expect more consistency from that?
I think good players excel in every team they play in. They make the right decisions at the right time for them to be classed as a top player. It's as simple as that. Whoever you're playing for, that's how you get to playing for the top clubs. That's how you get to playing for England. I played for a lot of clubs before I played for United, and a lot of clubs before I played for England. You have to show your worth all the way through, and you have people looking around you thinking, I want him in my team. He's a proper player. And I wonder sometimes where, with players at United, he might be saying, oh, well, I haven't got the players around me. But at the same time, players around him might be looking and going, is he really a top player? I'm not so sure. He's decent. He's got qualities. Does he really dig in when we're struggling and it's all not flowing well for us? In the old terms, do you want him in the trenches with you when the tough get going? And I'm not so sure the answer would be yes for the majority of the team.
Interesting. And when you look at that current team,